So I want to break down how I was actually able to fix knee pain that I had for like literally years and grow my legs. Obviously, it's kind of more of a side effect because I was able to actually fix my knee pain. I was able to actually, train a lot harder, a lot heavier, and in result, growing my legs. So kind of start at the beginning here because I want to kind of break things down step by step. If you're into weightlifting, bodybuilding, whatever it may be, or just you have general knee pain and you want to solve it, like this will help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through both the exercises that I actually use to strengthen my knees and kind of rehab them, as well as the actual like bodybuilding style movements that I've actually used to grow them, and then a few things in between there. As far as like original knee pain and where I actually got it from, honestly, I don't actually know the exact reason. I played soccer for 8 years and had consistent nagging knee pain for a long time. So when I got into weightlifting a lot, it really slowed me down, as you can imagine. And honestly, for the first few years of training, it was more of like a, go crazy on upper body and do some half-ass squats. And yeah, that's just kind of how it went. My legs didn't really ever grow. My knees always bothered me, and it was just not a fun time. And after a few years, I've been doing research all over the place. And I want to say it was about 2 years ago, I ran across a guy by the name of Ben Patrick. You may know him as the knees over toes guy. Point is, he's actually gotten really popular as of lately. I know he's been on Joe Rogan, and just gotten a big name on the internet. So Ben Patrick basically teaches, how to strengthen up your knees. And honestly, everything I learned is through him. There's way more that he teaches than what I'm going to go over today. I'm going to go over the things that I used from his programs and from his teachings, which is actually a very like small piece of everything that he actually teaches. So if you have like serious knee issues and things like that, I would go look at him for sure. I'm just going to keep it light today. So first things first, I'm going to talk about basically like what his philosophy is the concept is simply to put it into a position where it is generally weak and just strengthen it there, both to increase mobility and just overall bulletproofing. That's kind of what he teaches. So he teaches a bunch of different exercises. The ones I actually used, honestly, was just, I think I have my notes here. So I have 3 exercises. So first one being the reverse sled pulls. Reverse sled pulls are essentially, as it sounds, you're pulling a sled, but you're doing it backwards. And that motion of extending your leg, it's kind of like a leg extension, but I like to explain it as like a closed chain leg extension. Now, the thing about this is it's a fantastic way to warm up. I use it on every leg day to warm up. I don't actually do it as an exercise per se, but it's a really great way to strengthen your knees, but also to just get a ton of blood in your quads and in your knees. So that's one. And then the actual 2, it's only 2 other exercises that I really did. So one being his kind of like quintessential, the ATG split squat. You've probably seen, if you know who he is, you know what I'm talking about here. It's not like a Bulgarian split squat. It's quite the opposite. And this is something I honestly had to start out like fully. I had to elevate my foot like quite a bit, like probably up to almost my hip height to have no pain, and slowly worked my way down. I'm now at, I want to say 20-pound dumbbells on the floor with it. And just getting no weight or getting no elevation alone was a challenge. So like I've been working on this for 1.5 to 2 years, and off and on, of course, but yeah, it was a big one. So that's really good strengthening for your knee. The other one that I did is the goblet, like he calls it like the VMO squat. It's like a goblet squat, but the difference is you do have your elevated heels, whether you're on a ramp, whether you have plates underneath your heels. The difference is the way I was doing it, or the way he teaches it, is you're kind of almost like a sissy squat. Like your back is straight up, your knees come very far forward. You're not like doing a normal squat. The motion is very different. Your knees go very far forward, your back stays up, and you're essentially doing the squat that way. So I'll just have to show a video to give an example. But that's another example. This one I would actually argue is a really good quad builder. I don't know if I would say that the split squats is great for growing your quads, but if you get heavy on a goblet squat like this, you get strong at it, it'll grow your quads. I would definitely attribute some of my quad growth from this exercise because I've been doing it for a long time. But I started out, I want to say, maybe with a 10, 15-pound dumbbell, and I had some pain when I was doing it. But I think I'm up to now 70 or 75-pound dumbbell for a good 15 reps on my top set. And like for me, like that's a big jump. It's something that you really feel in your quads, but it also, again, strengthens your knee in that forward position. Okay. Now I need to mention, obviously, like whatever I end up using for a thumbnail or something will probably be showing some of the leg gains that I've made. During this last 2 years, I also did a bulk for 2 years. I gained about 50 pounds in a year and a half. So as you can imagine, it also really helped my growth of my legs. We're going to talk about some of the exercises there, but I want you guys to understand, if you are trying to grow your legs or any body part for that matter, you do need to eat. Now, I was very, very, very skinny, so like 50 pounds in a year and a half is not normal. And I actually didn't gain a ton of body fat, but I just was extremely like malnourished and also had some muscle memory, for the first 20 pounds or so. So as far as bodybuilding exercises, the things that actually I use to I would say grow my legs, and I'll be honest, it's only a few exercises. Those last two, the ATG split squat and the goblets, those are two of my main ones. Leg press, that's probably the main outside of those that I've done as far as bodybuilding goes, and just trying to grow my legs. That's pretty much it, is leg press. I have done hack squats for a little while, and I have done Bulgarians from time to time. But to be honest, leg press has been the main one. I did normal leg press for like probably a year and a half, and then I've done more like single leg and things like that to kind of try to even things out, because I definitely got some imbalances. But I replaced leg press as far as from squat and other things like that, because to be honest, my legs did not grow when I squatted. Is there anything wrong with squat? Absolutely not. I just had issues with my hips, knees, and even my shoulder. And I'm working on it actively, trying to be able to do some of those squatting movements, because I think that they're obviously very advantageous. But yeah, I just mainly leg press. And then the goblets, I would say the goblets and the leg press are probably the two biggest builders. And that's all I've really done. Now, we've only been really talking about quads, and that's because, well, that's mainly what I'm focused on. My quads are like actually a pretty strong point on my physique. Hamstrings are not a strong point. So like that's something I'm actively working on. Whilst, during this time, of course, I've been doing RDLs and ham curls and adductors and all these other things, but like I don't do leg extensions. Never done any leg extensions really. I've tried them a few times, but my knees don't generally like them. But yeah, that's really it. I didn't do a lot of different exercises, just gotten really strong at a few different exercises, and kind of with the balance of also trying to make sure I'm strengthening my knees. So that's pretty much it. I think overall, what I can kind of give you from this, just to wrap it all up, is you do need to strengthen yourself in the weaker positions. And I'm going to make more videos about this, because I've been doing some things like that for the shoulders, like super deep shoulder pressing to get strong in there. All things that I've learned from his program. Lots more to it, but the point is, for this case, if you have knee pain, you need to get over that whole knees over toes thing. You do need to get your knee over your toe. You need to get it strong in that weak position there, not only to bulletproof it, but also just so that way you actually can grow your legs. If you have knee issues, you have joint issues, you're not going to be able to grow, simply put. So that is my overall kind of speed run of what we just, of what I've done over the last few years as far as legs go. I'll definitely probably talk more about the bulk over the 2 years, because that was, quite the change. But yeah, I'm going to cut it there.